Hey there, welcome back to the ProTech podcast. Your hosts for today's episode are me, Thulasi, TJ, and Shobitha. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the issue of cyberbullying. A Touch Cyberwellness survey that was conducted among 1,900 primary school students in 2018 found that 1 in 5 students have been bullied online. While the survey was conducted among primary school students, cyberbullying is something that can happen in all stages of life, no matter who you are. Cyberbullying can come in very prominent forms which may directly hurt the victim, or it could also be very subtle, and the bully or the victim may not realize this. Let's find out more about the different forms of cyberbullying that can take place in our day-to-day lives.
Some of us may post unglammed photos of our friends on our social media for fun. But did you know that if the photo is posted without their consent, it may be considered as cyberbullying? What is cyberbullying? In simple terms, any hostile or mean behavior directed at someone online with the intention of causing hurt is considered cyberbullying. Though cyberbullying itself is a type of bullying, there are different types of cyberbullying too. Cyberstalking, for example, is when the bully makes the victim feel unsafe and makes them fear for their safety by sending them threatening messages and engaging in similar online activities. Harassment is when someone repeatedly sends rude, mean, and insulting messages to their victim via social media platforms or SMS. Flaming, on the other hand, is categorized by posting mean comments, often including vulgarities on shared internet spaces like blogs and online gaming streaming sites. Oftentimes, these type of bullies hide behind their anonymity, thus concealing their identity to avoid getting into trouble. As mentioned before, posting unglammed of your friends without their permission can be considered a form of outing, in which the bully shares embarrassing and personal information about their victim on shared online spaces like social media. Trickery, while similar, refers to fooling someone into giving you their information with the intention of spreading this information to humiliate them. Then there are the two Ds: denigration, which means putting down someone, and degradation, which means humiliating someone. Denigration refers to the spreading of altered images or distorted information about the victim to hurt and embarrass them. Similarly, degradation refers to spreading rumors and gossips to hurt someone's relationships as well as reputation. The last form is exclusion, which, as the term implies, is the act of excluding someone online to hurt them. Now we have covered the different types of cyberbullying. Once again, they are cyberstalking, harassment, flaming, outing, trickery, denigration, degradation, and exclusion. I hope that you have learned more about the different forms of cyberbullying so that you can learn to identify them.
So, if one day you are cyberbullied yourself, what do you do? Firstly, keep calm and do not retaliate. It takes us just a second to get frustrated and angry at the perpetrator. You may want to retaliate with some hurtful comments, but this makes you no different from the bully, and you might get into trouble as well. It may aggravate the bully, who may start making more mean posts online. Secondly, cut contact with the bully and secure your account. On social media platforms, make sure to block the bully's account and report it to the media provider. Thirdly, save the evidence. Whether the bully has acted through online chat rooms, websites, or social media platforms, always take screenshots. You can use them to seek help from others later. Lastly, inform the incident to someone you trust. This might seem very basic, but when you are cyberbullied, you may be too scared and embarrassed to tell someone about it because you are afraid it may get worse. Remember that this is not your fault, but even if it is, if you want to put an end to it, you must have the courage to speak up. Telling either a parent or a trusted adult will make you feel better. It might be difficult for you to report the incident to an adult because you do not know what exactly to tell them. Here are some guidelines for you to keep in mind. Firstly, you should inform the adult the form of cyberbullying you have encountered online. This will help the adult gauge the severity of the situation and decide what to do next. Secondly, you should give them the evidence that you have collected of you getting cyberbullied online so that you can identify the perpetrator and punish them. Thirdly, you should also let them know if you have talked to anyone else about the situation and how you feel about this incident. This will help you release any negative feelings. Now on to precautions. We have talked about dealing with cyberbullying after it has occurred, but are there ways to prevent them from occurring? Well, although you can't stop anyone from bullying you, you can control who has access to your social media platforms. We all might want to have a lot of followers on Instagram. However, we can protect ourselves by only adding those we know and trust to our social media pages.
If you come across any incidents of someone bullying online or even someone getting bullied, do not just let it pass. Some bystanders might join the bully and also start posting mean remarks. They justify their actions by telling themselves that others are doing it too. It should be okay. This is known as the chain effect. Online, if you cannot help the victim being cyberbullied, do not aggravate the situation by joining the bully. If the victim is someone you know or is your friend, support them and tell them that they are not alone. If you come across someone getting bullied online, do not add to it. Instead, find ways to help the victim. You can speak up for the victim and help him out of the situation. However, this definitely does not mean that you hurt the bully in order to save the victim. In these situations, it is important that you help the victim without putting him in more danger by agitating the bully. Here are some things that you can do if you are a bystander of a cyberbullying case. Firstly, you can get help from a trusted adult to manage the situation. Secondly, report the bully's account and actions. Thirdly, reach out to the victim if it's safe and help him feel better about the situation. Fourthly, you can also introduce them to online help centers for bullying victims, such as Tinkle Friend. Lastly, ensure that their parents are aware of the situation and help them through the process of healing. Remember, cyberbullying is incredibly damaging to its victims, and even letting it happen is a form of passive bullying. Although it may be difficult to intervene in such a situation, remember, it is the right thing to do. I'm going to leave you with a quote that will hopefully guide you in making the right choice. We must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy. That is all for today's podcast. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast and hope you learned something new. See you next time.